Going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Just some really small but quick announcements. Had a nice chat with all the grant team members about the pilot program and our loyalty program. So basically, everybody that is consistent and really wants to help the grant team move forward with affordable housing, alternative housing programs, our little team. The promise that we made to them was that as the pilot program opens up and then other pilot programs or other doors or other lands or other backyards or other things come into position, we want our grant team to have priority. You know, there's a philosophy out there that talks about take care of your employees take care of you. And I'm not saying they're employees, W-2, but the team. You take care of your team takes care of you. And so, we put that out there as a loyalty retention incentive program. That people that's helping us with us, meaning the whole county, build up affordable housing and alternative housing grants, contacting foundations, and starting the applications, maintaining the whole grant process, closing out the grant process, and all that stuff. Their heart's in the right place. We want to make sure that the tiny house pilot program into the next piece of land with other multiple tiny houses on top of there, that they get first dibs. Basically, a loyalty program. And so that should be an incentive enough for most people that's outside there that's thinking about joining our grant team. Is that we had a nice conversation with a couple of the team members, because we know we have a couple of them that's really serious about getting into a tiny house and procuring the land. And so we are in a full-blown sprint with the city managers, city planning, zoning, and city hookups to pick a piece of land out of the 10 to 15 pieces of land and work with them, which is priceless. That's the most important thing. It's not the land, it's not the money, it's not the tiny houses, it's not that, none of that. The most important thing is the relationship that we have with the city, to work with them to help them solve a problem, because a pilot program is mathematical. The other 10 pieces of land and the other opportunities that come through the city now and in the future because of a tight relationship of solving city problems equals future opportunities that no one else can see. And sure as heck, we will be thought about first when it comes to referrals or other people wanting to do stuff, because we're playing a win-win-win business plan, non-profit business plan. And so I just wanted to throw that out there, that we had nice conversations yesterday with the team, and that's the loyalty program that we have in place. So everybody that's thinking about joining the grant team, you should know that now, because spring is now and summer is coming, which means more and more people that's been looking at the community dinners and tiny house tours and taking a tour of what we're doing. In winter, they were just watching because it was too cold. In spring and summer, it's warm enough now. They're going to start to be like, oh, I really want to finally start to participate inside of this. And so all I'm saying is that we're about to double our community dinners, double our grant team to double digits. And so for those that are thinking about joining this movement, I just want you to know that that is our intention, is to if you really want to get into a tiny house, and right now the intention there's many options, but right now the intent is to work with the city to procure the land and the tiny house combined. And so that's a whole nother game. We have another tiny house association that's reviewing our ordinance and using their legal team, power team, to revise or make suggestions on how we can strengthen the ordinance. so that we can bring it back to the city managers and city staff and review the considerations to strengthen the ordinance, to protect it more from big companies that want to come in and just buy up everything and just make a tiny house village. What do you call that? Just part of their portfolio, a hedge, kind of like a hedge fund, but they take a hedge. It's kind of like buying 5% of your portfolio in gold and silver. It's just a hedge, just in case something happens. It's good. And so if these bigger organizations wanted to come in and just buy up a bunch of tiny house villages as a hedge against future whatever, all we know we can see is that in the future they're going to raise rents, and we're right back to the same place that we all started. Instead of having affordable / alternative housing, we now have the same problem, which is nobody can afford $1,500 to $2,000 rents. And sure as hell, before our kids ever grow up and graduate from high school or college, are they going to be able to handle a $2,000 to $2,500 rent? They're not, because the county-wide is $45,000 income, and it's not getting higher. And Mount Shasta has a $34,000 income per person, and that's definitely not getting higher. And gentrification is real. It's less in other cities in the county of Siskiyou, but in Mount Shasta, our average home price is pretty up there. And so our Shastanites are definitely easily getting priced out in comparison to all the other cities that's around. Another big thing we talked about was demographic cliff. A demographic cliff, which means in about 1 to 2 decades, which is not a long time, in 10 years to 20 years, 4 out of 5 city council members, staff, and management will be making their graduation and ascension, which means they're not going to be in office anymore, which means there's going to be massive vacancies in the next 10 to 20 years on every city in Siskiyou County. All city staff, all city managers, all city council members, all city planning commission members. In the next 10 or 20, go look at your average. I love my elders too, so I'm not saying this like they are bad at all. No, not at all. But it is to bring about awareness that my age, 40, and our 40-year-olds need to really be aware that there's going to be huge vacancies inside of the city, each city, and the county. Which means, I don't think that every city kind of quite catches it, but around 50% of each city, the average age is about 55, 65, 60, 65 retirement age, which is cool. That's fine. But again, humans typically live to about 70, 80 now-ish, which is what it is. And so what I think a lot of people is not looking at is a double-edged sword, that half of our population in every city, including the entire county, which is about 40,000 people, will be cut in half in the next 1 to 2 decades. Number one is because our elders are making their graduation and ascension, and number two is because our kids cannot afford a house or an industry in Siskiyou County that's dying. We're not gold miners anymore. We're barely farmers anymore. Congratulations to all the farmers that's still very resilient. Love you. Thank you. We appreciate you. It's huge. But there's been a lot of farms and micro farms that have fallen, and it's not getting easier. So in the next 10 years or 20 years, there's a high probability that our farmers are going to be struggling even more. And it's going to be interesting to figure out how the heck we're going to balance that one. Everyone knows how logging's going. Logging is our county's whole bloodline. And I drove log truck for a little while, 3-4 years, something like that. So, I mean, Roseburg is down. Hopefully somebody else comes back in and reopens that thing. But our logging industry in Siskiyou other than TP and Montague taking X amount of loads per day the best they can. It's tricky. And 10 years, 20 years from now, as our old-time loggers, old-time gold miners, old-time farmers start to make their graduation and ascension, what's going to happen? Here's another great, huge, monstrous opportunity, too, for anybody that's not thinking in their 40s. Many of these old-timers have no kids. Many of them. And they've built 30, 40 years of assets, equipment for their craft. And many of them don't have a kid, don't have kids that want to take on their craft and continue the lineage. Or many of them do have kids, but then they don't find the industry that they want to have a career in Siskiyou County, so they left. They're now in some major city somewhere else in some other state. And when the passing of the torch happens, the kids just want to liquidate. They don't want to come back to Siskiyou County and take on the welding, the 30 years worth of welding equipment and the welding shop and the mechanic shop and the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what happens? A legal team comes together and there's a liquidation. Here's my suggestion to all of you. Specialize in your craft and be hella good at what you do, especially in the blue collar world right now. Because the biggest opportunity of the transfer of wealth is about to happen in this decade. So this decade and next decade, the population is on the verge of being cut in half, and I'm sure as hell know that the county is not thinking about it. I know that for damn sure. For sure, they're not. So whoever's in here, send this post to everybody that's in the county staff. Send it off to everybody that's in a city manager position or city council position in every small city. And call me wrong. Go look at the average age. Go look at the average housing. Go look at the average age of your city staff. All city staff inside of your city, not just Mount Shasta. And I'm telling you, you're about 1 to 2 decades away from 50% of all your whole entire city's infrastructure gets cut in half and massive vacancies. When your town gets cut in half, what happens? When your kids don't have a place to stay, where do they go? They don't stay here. That's why it's called a demographic cliff. Cliff, meaning our oldies but goodies, and our youngies are both leaving at the same time. And nobody is looking 7 generations ahead. It's not American culture to look ahead. It's not. It's indigenous culture to look ahead. It's this culture that looks ahead. It's this guy right here. These guys look ahead. So if you have that deep down inside of you and it's time for you to rise up, it's time for you to start looking at your assets and how are you going to help affordable / alternative housing situations. Why do you think we're so passionate about tiny houses on wheels? Is it because we're so in love with tiny houses on wheels? No, it's because it's $150,000 or less to put a house and the land together combined, which now with the industries that we have left, which is not much, but when you average $35,000 to $45,000 per individual income in the whole county, it starts to become affordable. It starts to become affordable, which means long-term residency and resilience. We're able to stay inside the county that we grew up in. We started to stay in the cities that we grew up in. And we have an opportunity to have our kids stay inside the cities that we grew up in. The other little push for the Yeah movement is to slow population decline, slow. And then the second phase is to stop population decline, which means the 1 or 2 people that's leaving every year, we can make 1 or 2 tiny houses and stop it. We can at least average it out. The people that are leaving compared to the people that's coming in, we can stop it. The next thing is we're going to grow it. Now we make 3 or 4 tiny houses compared to the 1 or 2 that's leaving. Now we start to grow the population. Number 4 is that we anticipate our elders making their graduation and ascension, and we are intricately focused upon our younger generation to stay. Instead of them leaving to a big city because there's no opportunity and there's no housing for them, we are creating housing now which has a labor force to incentivize bigger industry to come through and create new jobs, because we have a workforce that's still local and they're not all leaving. So that's the second phase of it. And lastly, after the graduation and population decline, which is, again, we are anticipating and we are pushing forward with the retention rate of our youngins so that we can fill these empty seats that's happening in every city, our county will be better off. Instead of losing 2 generations, the old and the young, we're only sending off our best, our elders, into their celebration and graduation party. And so that's the big little news today. Incentive for the grant writing team is retention and loyalty. Get a hold of Anastasia. I'll tag you in there. You guys talk on the cell phone, and then she'll give you the agenda, and we'll assign a few foundations for you so that you can move that forward. And there's a bunch of people that's on the grant team that they just want to help the movement move forward, and they don't really want, they like the home they're in or the place that they're at, and they don't need to move into a tiny house or a village right now or anything crazy. They just really, really, really want to help the affordable housing movement. But they like to be on the back of the list and be like, hey, 10 years from now, I might want to move into a tiny house on a piece of land, or my kids or something. So, track our little services and consistency. So, and tomorrow is Thursday, and we have a consultation for the nonprofit. So we're moving into a nonprofit status so that hopefully by the end of the year, we are in position for tax exempt business write-offs come tax season, late fall, late December or so. And we will be in position, and the processing format is coming through, which there's a dual thing. So I'll let, that'll come next. That'll be the next little announcement. But one, we can accept it at a discount. And number two is that we can partner with a bunch of friends. We already have 10, 20, 30 business friends right now, and they already do processing formats for their own business. It's just, we're going to create a way where you get a little discount, and then that little discount actually goes over to the nonprofit on a monthly schedule, so that we don't need to put so much emphasis on only grants as a form of income. It's just residual monthly cash flow that has way more flexibility. And so we're working on that with the consultant come tomorrow. And then the next push will be it's probably going to be $1,000, $2,000, somewhere hiding in there, or probably less, probably a little bit cheaper, $1,500, $2,000, somewhere in there, to actually have the legal team set it up the right way. And all liability goes on them, so that if something trips up, we're not the ones that did it by ourselves. We had a legal team push it all together. So come next Saturday is the Yeah Movement. Saturday, 5 p.m. at 954 Old Stage Road. The Old Nazarene Church is our next community dinner. That's next Saturday at 5 p.m. So get your tickets online, yeahmovement.com, YEAH, movement.com. It's $25 per adult. It's $30 at the door, so you get a small discount. And all the kids eat free, and we probably had 10 kids, so it was fun. And so you'll hear more about that. So that's just more philosophy of what's going on. Hope you guys have a great day on Wednesday, and we'll talk to you later. All right? Peace. Think about it. Go to your city and go find the stats, because I know I'm not perfect, but I know I'm not wrong. You better go find out your stats and see what it's going to look like 1 decade, 2 decades from now, and share this damn post to everybody that's in city staff in every city, and especially county, because everyone needs to start looking ahead. What's going to happen in 1 decade, 2 decades from now? I ain't wrong. I know I ain't wrong. So better start looking. Deuces.